Love chatting with this guy. He covers one of the most intriguing teams in recent memory. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady at the controls once again, coming off of that loss to Green Bay on Sunday, and then Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, we assume in Tampa, with Hurricane Ian barreling down on the west coast of Florida. Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show, Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, is Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. How is everything, Rick?
I'm hunkering down, Rich. Maybe hungering down. You know what you do when you have these hurricanes coming? You sit around and you eat a lot, I think.
Okay.
And,
well, you look in shape. You know, I'm looking at the screen right now, and those Rick Stroud dimples are still showing. So, you know, but I know what it's like in Florida, where people are like, we're staying put until until the last second, because the number of times where people bug out and then the hurricane moves in a different direction. But not to turn you into a weatherman right now, but it definitely affects what's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What can you tell me right now as we're talking, Rick?
Yeah, well, when Jim Cantore shows up at your doorstep, you're in trouble. I think he was in Clearwater a day ago. It is very serious, and we've been very lucky for about 100 years to not have a direct hit or one very close to Tampa Bay. It would be devastating. From what we know, this thing's going to pack a lot of rain. What the Bucs have done is kind of left us all behind. They're getting on a plane and flying to South Florida. They're going to work out Wednesday and Thursday at least at the Miami Dolphins facility. They're going to use their fields, their weight room, and then we'll see. We'll all see where the storm comes ashore and when. I think the thought is, Rich, they're still very hopeful to play this game Sunday night at Raymond James. And the latest track has it a little south of here, maybe in Sarasota, but that can change. If it can't be played here, and there's going to be a lot of emergency services needed wherever it comes ashore, which won't be far from here. I've read and heard sort of, ideas about playing somewhere in the Midwest, maybe Minnesota, that's in England. But, we're with these storms that can kind of hang out there. It's really hard to predict what's going to happen this far out.
Yeah, and I guess it would be difficult to say, let's go to New Orleans, because they're also in London as well, and the Dolphins facility is available in the manner in which you just described, because the Dolphins play Thursday night in Cincinnati. So, but who knows if this hurricane turns left, and any plan about let's play in New Orleans would go by the wayside. But obviously, if it turns left, that would spare the Tampa area. So who knows, as I understand the question right now. Put it together, though, for me on the injury front for Tampa. Should this game be played on time and normally? What do you got for me there?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing, Rich, is that they're going to have some receivers back. I mean, Mike Evans is coming off a suspension, and that was a huge loss, obviously, in a game, where you held the team to 14 points on the other side. And, from what I understand, Julio Jones could have played. I read Jay Glazer's report about a partially torn PCL. I know Rodney Barber played with one in the Super Bowl year. Not the same position, obviously. But it looks like they're optimistic, at least, that maybe he can make it back. I don't know about Chris because we just haven't seen him, and we're not going to see him because everything down there is going to be virtual back to us, assuming we have power and we can join them on the Zoom calls and whatnot. So, look, they'll get some of their receivers back. Some of the others have to step up and play better, and they just have to play better as an offense, And I think that, Todd Bowles has gotten to the point where he realizes now that he can't just ride Leonard Fournette. He's got to get some other running backs involved, like Rashad White or Keyshawn Vaughn, guys that haven't touched the ball at all in the last couple games. And, they've got to get going on offense. I mean, it's not a secret that, you should be 3-0. I mean, when your defense gives up 3, 10, and 14 in this league, Rich, you should be undefeated. And yet there they were at the, with a 2-point conversion and did the unthinkable in professional football and get a delayed game penalty there. So, I think they feel okay about where they're at record-wise, but they got a really good Kansas City team coming somewhere to play them. I'm not exactly sure where.
Well, I guess then before we turn the page to that a little bit more, Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's focus on the last minute of that loss on Sunday. What is the reason why the delay of game penalty hit? And I'll give you a second to collect your thoughts by turning to the Brady comments where he said it was just, poor execution. I guess he doesn't want to throw any of the young, new folks under the bus. Was that it? Or I thought I could see he mouthed the words something about timeout. He didn't have any left, thought he could. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know if he lost track of the fact they had no timeouts or not. All I know is that, when they scored the touchdown, on that play, there was a reason to review it. What usually happens is they set the clock at 40 seconds, and then they'll hold it at 20. You're used to having a 25-second play clock. I don't really know. Those all sound like excuses to me. I know that, Cole Beasley went in the game. He's only been there for 3 practices. I don't know that he practiced that 2-point conversion. Tom, with about 9 seconds, sort of motions him back in tighter to the formation. They're going to hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette, and I think they had a crease. But, look, the clock's, they pay a lot of money for those scoreboards. The clock's right in front of you. And they have a young center in Robert Hainsey, and with about 3 or 4 seconds, Tom's kind of clapping for the ball that's never snapped. And the ball has to be snapped. So there's really no excuse for it. It definitely may have cost them a game. I mean, as badly as they played, they get the drive at the end, 80-something yards, and, you're a 2-point conversion away from overtime, maybe winning that and being thrilled that you beat the Packers by holding them to 14. But, these are the things that you're going to have. I think, Rick, it's a combination of inexperience that you have with some of these offensive linemen and injuries. I mean, Donovan Smith didn't play. They played Brandon Walton. He gave up a sack. Had a false start and a holding penalty. I mean, those things are what's going to happen. And, you can't put the ball on the ground. I mean, you have veteran players like Russell Gage, Broussard Perriman fumbling. You're just not playing well. And, 1 touchdown a game and 36 drives or whatever it is, 3 total is just not going to get it. So they've got a lot to clean up, but there's a new cast around Tom Brady. And, frankly, they're trying to do it a different way. They're trying to protect their 45-year-old quarterback by running the ball, and I think they're just, I think they're beating their heads against the wall a little bit with Leonard Fournette at this point.
Now, I wasn't in the building, Rick Stroud, so you can help me out with this one. I'm just assuming whoever operates the Jumbotron at Raymond James had a great game. That person is just like, you know what, I nailed it. I got the crowd cheering. I put all the the sponsors up there right on time during timeouts. I nailed it. And then suddenly Aaron Rodgers said something at the end of the game on Fox, like, I saw something on the Jumbotron that helped out. Was there like a mole hunt in the Jumbotron department over the last 48 hours? Like, what's going on there on that?
You put it well. Like, his biggest job was to get Tampa and Bay up, together so that people could chant that during a game. But all I know is that the last time I saw a very stern-looking Todd Bowles, we asked him about that, and he goes, "There will be a meeting later this afternoon."
Oh, no.
Man, I would love to have been the proverbial fly on the wall, but you feel like maybe somebody was going to get fired. But I don't. The only thing is, it's probably not a good idea to get too tight on the sideline, during critical play calling. But I can't imagine what Rodgers saw. I would love to know. If there was, in fact, something that tipped him off to anything that he would then go, tell LaFleur about, and then I guess Joe Barry. But it was probably a bad day in the game operation department, I would imagine, over there.
Yeah. So any scuttlebutt that you can say here? What it could have been?
I haven't called all my friends to see if they still have jobs yet. But, I'll certainly go back in the building at some point and do a head count. I don't know. Again, I wonder how much of this is real and how much of this is just Rodgers, being Rodgers. But so maybe he did see something, maybe he didn't. But I would say this: I don't think you're going to see a camera if it's focused on the sideline during play calling. It better not be up on that big scoreboard.
Rick Stroud here on the Rich Eisen Show from the Tampa Bay Times. Before I let you go, sir, I don't know, man. I'm not around him. I'm just seeing him. I see him before games. I see him during games. I see him destroying tablets. I see him after games. Tom Brady looks different. He looks more gaunt, and he doesn't look to be as excited. I just don't know. He looks more subdued, I guess. Am I off What can you tell me about here?
He's definitely under some stress, and it's not all football related. I think we're all aware of that at this point. I thought he was in a better mood the other day, to be honest with you. Even after the game, certainly before it. I mean, he had his mom, his dad, all three kids. I'll stop there at the game, and and he might have had an extra shake because I think maybe he's gained a pound or two. I really don't know, but there's definitely some personal issues, and we can all sort of speculate on that. I really think, to be honest with you, it's kind of like what he misses is I want to see him like Tom Cruise walk into Rob Gronkowski's house and like in Jerry Maguire and say, "You complete me. I'm looking for my tight end. You complete me. You complete me." And that's really what he needs, because as much as Gronk, is that guy in the red zone, the guy that gets him out on third down, he also balances Brady, who's extremely intense and really wound tight, and it's just about winning and all of that. And Gronk never has a bad day. So Richie's got to get that insurance, man. Get the USA insurance and come back and play some football. And I don't think that'll happen until December at the earliest. But man, he misses him some Gronk right about now.
You think that's what it is, huh? It could be that.
I do. And in so many ways, I think. And like I said, there's off the field stuff that we can't even imagine, right?
Right.
But by the same token, just from a football standpoint, the tight ends here have about 5 catches more than me. So, I just think that, you've taken away an entire, part of his safety net. And, and more than that, it's what balances him off the field. He lightens the mood, man. He just sort of, makes Tom laugh. And I haven't seen Tom laugh in a long time. So somebody needs to do it. But, hopefully when they start playing better, that he'll feel better about things.
And what a game Sunday night, man, right? I mean, the chips on the shoulder of the Chiefs, too, the way they just lost to the Colts. This is it.
Right.
I can't wait for that. I mean, what's the challenge there? I mean, the Bucs defense looks championship quality. Vita Vea dropping into coverage and blowing up Aaron Jones and creating that fumble on the goal line is one of the most amazing things I've seen this year on the defensive side.
He's an athletic guy. They got some pieces, and I think they could be elite. They got to stop giving up yards on the first drive. They can't figure that out. They've given up scores, really 2 field goals and a touchdown now, and they can't figure out why they start slow. But really, I'm with you, Rich. I think, when you look at them and they have the defensive line. We know those 2 outside linebackers, Jumbotron and Stroud, is getting better each week. The 2 linebackers are better, as good as any pair in the league. Devin White is playing, I think, at a defensive player of the year level. And the secondary has been where there's been the biggest growth. They moved Antoine Winfield Jr. inside, to play that slot corner position that he can play very well, and then you add, some guys on the back end. But those guys in the secondary have been together for so long now that they've really grown up. They took to heart that play against the Rams where, a couple where they just, turned Cooper Kupp loose. And so communication's been a big thing this offseason, and you can see that it's, that they are communicating better. So I'm with you. I mean, like I said, if you hold teams to 3 and 10 and 14 points each week, that offense feels like they're letting the other side down. So I think they're going to be great. And this should be a great matchup, although, Kansas City losing to Indy probably wasn't a good break for the Bucs. And who knows where that game's going to be played.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well, I hope it's Raymond James Stadium for the obvious reasons as well as the football reasons. I mean, the rematch in that stadium for the first time since, the Bucs. Well, since the Bucs essentially made the Chiefs change their offensive line, right? And
That's right.
And so we'll see. I really can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it's in Raymond James, and I hope you and your family stay put and everything goes well over the next 90 hours, Rick. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, Rich. We're going to go batten down the hatches now and whatever else you got to do before hurricanes come.
Rick Stroud, you take care of yourself. That's Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, always making us smarter, giving us food for thought here on the Rich Eisen Show.